All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of 100 Ways to Make 100K. We've got episode 9 with Jeff Socha. Now, I'm at this mastermind conference, right? And all of a sudden, I think it was the first person, this guy's named Jeff. He comes up on stage wearing like loafers, no socks, and talking like, listen, not a lot of people talk multi-millions, but Jeff does. And when you hear some of the ways that he speaks about his perspectives on wealth and some of the opportunities that are on his horizon, it really highlights the difference between people that are thinking in the short term and people that are thinking in the long term. Now, this interview specifically, this one took like the most amount of guts at this time because he was one of the speakers at the event, right? Like after the event, everybody goes and lines up and tries to ask these guys questions. And it's like, hey, man, you want to be on my podcast? And he was like, yeah, sure, I'm down. I'll owe you one. And then he did. So I hope you guys like what he had to say. I thought like it, honestly, the stage where I'm at in my wealth journey, I think he's way beyond, like to the point where I can't even really ask him questions. You know, this concept called upper 33%. But anyways, I'll get into that in another talk. I hope you guys like the episode with Jeff. And thanks so much for tuning in to another episode of 100 Ways to Make 100K. I'm Javon.ca. And hope you enjoy.
Hey, how are you doing?
Good. How's it going, Javon?
I'm fantastic. Hey, what was your name?
Jeff Socha.
And Jeff, where are you at in your investing journey right now?
Where I'm at is I sold a company last year, so it got me very liquid. I still have some real estate, I have some private equity, but I'm maintaining the liquidity, looking forward to what I think is going to be some great buying opportunities from the market downturn and probably a coming recession.
Hey, Jeff, you got a second to tell me a quick story?
Sure.
Now, do you remember when you made your first 100 grand?
Like in a day or a month or a year? What do you mean?
Yeah, great question. Let's start off with a year.
I think I was probably about 26.
26. So what were you doing at the time? Where were you? What kind of stage of life were you at?
I was doing project management and was just getting my life started.
And project management for?
Construction company.
So how did you get involved in construction? What got you interested there?
I grew up in it. My family had a construction company. I've been around construction since I was a child.
Beautiful. And that's how you made your first 100K in a year?
Yeah.
Interesting. Have you ever made 100K in a month?
Yep.
You think you could dive in and tell me a little bit about that?
Well, I was probably in my early 30s. I don't remember exactly when it was. Maybe I was around 34. I had started a financial company and things were going well. And the income just kept growing. We were growing about 100% a year. And so it just, the profit got to that level.
So when you say you made a financial company, what does that mean, Jeff?
I started a financial consulting company working with some of the most successful families in the country.
So what types of things would you help these families with?
Everything from tax planning, financial planning, cash flow, investing, risk management, those types of things.
Wow. And so Jeff, question for you. Have you ever made 100K in a day?
Yeah.
And tell me about that. Was that through the same company? Was that something different? How did that work?
Yeah, through the same company. Just, doing a deal that paid more than $100,000 and the payment came through in one day. So,
can you dive into what a deal like that actually looks like?
So when I'm working for clients, we can get paid in a multiple different ways through insurance, investments, kind of financial services, traditional forms of income, or just through fees. And, I think the first time I made $100,000 in one deal or one, client acquisition was just having a client that paid more than $100,000 in fees for the services that we gave them.
Interesting. So if someone wants to learn a little bit more about getting into this financial business, financial advising, where would you suggest they start? What type of questions should they be asking?
Oh man, I would probably start by thinking about what kind of problems you can solve, what kind of value you can add, and who you can add it to.
Interesting. So Jeff, I actually got a question for you. You seem like a pretty interesting guy. You seem like you've done some interesting things. Now, have you ever made $1 million in a year?
Yes.
Can you dive into that? What was that like?
I mean, it was just from scaling up my financial company. So, I think when you own a business, if you continue growing it and scaling it, the sky's the limit. So, for me, it was just a natural progression.
So, Jeff, if you were to go back, the old Jeff, the project management Jeff, what do you think that today Jeff would say to the project management Jeff?
The future looks awesome.
Jeff, thanks so much, man. We appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you.
Be great.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, well, thank you so much for tuning into that episode. That's our man, Jeff Socha. And I hope you guys like what he had to say and really appreciate you guys being here. Why don't you guys leave us a rating? Let us know what you think of the show. How can we make this thing better? Now, please bear in mind, this is like episode 9. Now, the first weekend that I started filming this thing, I filmed like 14 episodes all in one sitting. I think we're going to cut one of them though, so we'll call it 13. So we ended up filming 13 episodes in one sitting, and I was really trying to feel out the conversation to see how can I take this better. Now, we filmed way more episodes since, and I think the conversation's getting there, but it's only getting better because of your feedback. So thanks so much for leaving the review. Thanks so much for sharing your opinions and what you thought. Once again, I'm Javon.ca. You can find us on all your social platforms at 100 Ways to Make 100K. We'll see you guys next week.